Humanitarian and spiritual leader whose vision of a violence-free and stress-free society through the reawakening of human values has inspired millions to broaden their spheres of responsibility and work towards the betterment of the world. He is engaged in peace negotiations and counseling in conflict zones around the world. His expertise in bringing opposing parties to the negotiating table in areas such as Iraq, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Colombia, Venezuela, Sri Lanka is widely known. Society, through the reawakening of human values, has inspired millions to broaden their spheres of responsibility and work towards the betterment of the world. He is engaged in peace negotiations and counseling in conflict zones around the world. His expertise in bringing opposing parties to the negotiating table in areas such as Iraq, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Colombia, Venezuela, Sri Lanka is widely known. Society, through the reawakening of human values, has inspired millions to broaden their spheres of responsibility and work towards the betterment of the world. He is engaged in peace negotiations and counseling in conflict zones around the world. His expertise in bringing opposing parties to the negotiating table in areas and a violence-free society such as Iraq, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Colombia, Venezuela, Sri Lanka is widely known. Society, through the reawakening of human values, has inspired millions to broaden their spheres of responsibility and work towards the betterment of the world. He is engaged in peace negotiations and counseling in conflict zones around the world. His expertise in bringing opposing parties to the negotiating table in areas and a violence-free society such as Iraq, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Colombia, Venezuela, Sri Lanka is widely known. Society, through the reawakening of human values, has inspired millions to broaden their spheres of responsibility and work towards the betterment of the world. He is engaged in peace negotiations and counseling in conflict zones around the world. His expertise in bringing opposing parties to the negotiating table in areas and a violence-free society such as Iraq, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Colombia, Venezuela, Sri Lanka is widely known. Society, through the reawakening of human values, has inspired millions to broaden their spheres of responsibility and work towards the betterment of the world. He is engaged in peace negotiations and counseling in conflict zones around the world. His expertise in bringing opposing parties to the negotiating table in areas and a violence-free society such as Iraq, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Colombia, Venezuela, Sri Lanka is widely known. Society, through the reawakening of human values, has inspired millions to broaden their spheres of responsibility and work towards the betterment of the world. He is engaged in peace negotiations and counseling in conflict zones around the world. His expertise in bringing opposing parties to the negotiating table in areas and a violence-free society such as Iraq, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Colombia, Venezuela, Sri Lanka is widely known. Society, through the reawakening of human values, has inspired millions to broaden their spheres of responsibility. Luhanga from South Africa. The conversation will be followed by meditation led by Gurudev.
Welcome. As we mark Africa Day, the day of the African Union, it has become a tradition to have the I Meditate Africa event. For the last 7 years, I've had the good fortune of being part of it. And my name is Utomi. I'm an academic and serial entrepreneur and social entrepreneur in Nigeria. I am particularly pleased to be joined today by a panel that includes from Mauritius, the lovely island nation of Mauritius, Roshan Hassamal, who is a journalist and will help with some of the questions and comments during the course of today's program. And from South Africa by Everson, Luhanga, and I am truly looking forward to our opportunity to interact with Gurudev. Ravi Shankar is one of the great spiritual and humanitarian leaders of our time. Good fortune and the privilege of meeting him on several occasions, of spending time at the ashram in Bangalore and traveling even to meditation programs that he has had outside of India, like and I believe that we will get a lot of inspiration from the time that we should spend today with him. So today we are dedicating this I Meditate Africa to Africa uniting against COVID-19. As we often say in Africa, together we stand, divided we fall. So how can we as Africa be united against this that is wreaking havoc across the world? And the privilege of having Gurudev lead us in a meditation as we confront this challenge, I think is one that we are looking truly forward to, along with members of the panel. Hello, good to see you.
Nice to see you all. Yeah.
For this privilege, I have been joined by a panel, so we can formally get started. I am so pleased that in these 7 years of I Meditate Africa, that we get another chance to be able to find strength in Africa to overcome the challenges of our environment. And as a part of that today, I am joined from around the continent by Roshan, Hassani, that's Roshan, Tim Modise, Tim gives us a wave, and by Evans Luhanga. Evans. Wonderful. Now, Gurudev, you have often said that Africa has a rhythm. The rhythm of Africa is, at this time, challenged by the COVID-19 crisis. In the years that you have affected our world through your work as a humanitarian, spiritual leader, and have helped many people overcome stresses to be more effective. Africa has dealt with a variety of challenges, but oftentimes we go like a broomstick. You know, in Africa, we say that a broomstick is easy to break, but when you put many broomsticks together into a broom, a bunch, you can do a lot with it, and it is very strong. How would you advise in going into this challenge of dealing with the stresses, the health issues, the financial burdens that this pandemic has brought about, that Africa can unite and use that inner strength to overcome and prepare for a better tomorrow?
This pandemic has completely changed the thinking mindset of the society. So post this COVID-19, even though the lockdown will all be over, but for people to get back to the normal life will take time. It will take at least a year and a half before people get over the paranoia, the fear of the groups, fear of meeting people, fear of the disease. You know, more than the disease, it's the fear of the disease that kills people. So we need to give them inner strength, give them confidence, boost their immune system. Though Africans have got very good immune system, but still it needs to be strengthened quite a bit to tell them what are the nice real things to be done For example, I would recommend people not to use white sugar. White sugar would bring down the immune system by 50% for 2 hours time. So instead of white sugar, use brown sugar. I would say use honey, use jaggery, raw, this one, sweeteners. So, and many more things like this, we need to educate our people. Education, if we can achieve in this decade 100% education in the entire African continent, that would be a great achievement. Its lack of education and awareness is something that makes it very difficult to control the virus. Yeah, because you need to create a lot of information floating and make people understand. Because anything new is not very easily taken up by people. So it needs quite a bit of convincing. And why they should keep social distancing, what is the need for using sanitizers, and all this, we need to keep educating them. As yesterday the World Health Organization has said, it will take 5 years to control this virus. This is terrible. I mean, 5 years, people cannot survive like this, So, and the poverty in Africa is another very big issue. This is the time for all those who have enough funds to be more generous, exhibit their generosity. Like here in India, we are feeding 60 million people just from Art of Living alone. So we are giving to people food, daily wage workers, especially those who live their life hand to mouth. So in Africa, we have a lot of people like that. This is another thing. And one more thing would be self-reliant agriculture. If every village in Africa, every small locality start producing food, grains and food, vegetables, food and poultry farms and all that, then they can achieve self-sufficiency in food. Nobody need to go hungry. This is something we can float because Africa has very fertile land, very good land, a good source of water, and air is very pure in Africa, not yet so polluted like in other continents. But this is the time if they can learn organic farming, natural agriculturing without chemicals and pesticides. Africa can lead the world for food because there is a lot of food shortage that is happening in the world. Yeah.
As Roshan has been very anxious to ask you a number of questions because he believes that will truly get people in the right mode of self-discipline. So I'll invite Roshan to pose a question to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gurudev.
Yes.
I still can't believe that I'm speaking to you. So a lot of love from Mauritius to India and also to the rest of the world. And thank you for having time for us. As a journalist in Mauritius, I have observed that there's a report often on the shortcomings that we have faced recently, especially with the COVID-19. And we often point fingers and say people are not respecting social distancing, or authorities, not only in Africa, but around the world, that they are not doing the right thing, or they are doing the good thing also. My thing is, I do not want to focus on what has not been done, but what I want to ask you is, many people who find it difficult to follow guidelines, when there's something that is bigger than us, we have to fall in between two lines and hopefully follow instructions that have been given to us as we are facing now in terms of COVID-19, social distancing, keeping clean, sanitizing, doing what needs to be done. But I feel that there is a lack of discipline and why people find it hard to follow guidelines. I'm not saying this, yes, in Africa, but also around the world. And I reckon that this could, maybe you could enlighten us on how to encourage more people to follow guidelines when there is something bigger than us, so that if something like this happens in the future again, we will be better prepared to face it.
One thing is to make them aware of the dangers of the situation, number one. Give them an idea. The fear factor has to be very clearly spelt out to them. But what would be that if you don't follow these instructions, what would be the outcome? See, unless there is fear, people will not follow rules, regulations. Number one. The second thing is get them know that this will be fine. After some time, this is only a short period of time that we have to go through this. It is not forever, it's not for lifetime. Number two, and the timing of it, how important the timing, and it's a time-bound thing. This is another thing we need to educate them. Third one is, see, if a person is stressed or paranoid, he will not follow any rule. No way they can listen to anybody or follow any rule. Because they tension and stress, they don't know what they are doing. They have no clarity of mind. Here, I would recommend them, they all should do meditation. They can do meditation, they can do breathing exercise, they can do many other exercises that can help them to have the clarity of mind. And when they feel calm and happy, they are ready to listen to any instruction. So bringing the calmness to them, to their mind, and make them see the sense is very, very important.
Okay. Thank you, Gurudev. And Tim, what do you say in South Africa? Okay, we'll go to Everson now because we challenge with the communication. So Everson, if you could pose the question to Gurudev.
Oh, sure. Good morning again. Thank you so much for having us hosting this. It's very, very important for Africa to have such engagement so that we can see where we take this beautiful continent forward. My question actually to you, sir, is we have seen when this COVID-19 landed in Africa, since it hit the shores of Africa, there has been little communication from government officials, government leaders to the people in different communities across the continent. And how do you encourage leaders to communicate with people on the ground who are mostly affected? They don't have proper resources, and actually there are lacking resources to fight this pandemic. And the government, of course, we know this is a pandemic. It didn't warn anybody that is coming, but then it is here. How the government communicate with the people so that the people can understand the dangers of this pandemic, the dangers of this virus, and so that they can take proper precautions to beat and fight this COVID-19 virus.
The government has their bit to play. I mean, they have their bit to do. I think they have bigger role to take care of the welfare of the people. But I feel that government alone cannot do it. The civil society will also have to pitch in. The civil society, when they come together and they can see that the distribution is done in a proper manner and government participation, and so the people at large feel that they are not alone, they are not isolated, that everybody is with, now everyone is working together. This is nothing short of a World War III, I would say, because like in World War, everybody came together. In the same way, to fight this pandemic, the society as a whole should come together. Otherwise, there will be a ping pong of blame games will start. People will say the government will have their own version. They say people are not following, they don't have discipline. So this is not the time for blame game at all. In fact, everyone should accept the criticism, both the government and the private and public sector will have to come together and do what is in their best capacity to the people who are really affected and suffering. There are people who are going without food for many days because they lost their jobs. They could not go and work in the factories and places they used to work. Now, they need to be really given that extra care, And I would say probably even for 1 or 2 months, if these things continue, still we can flatten the curve of this coronavirus spreading so fast. We will have to be very cautious and plan for a robust economy in the future. See, this corona has virtually made the whole world flat, economy of the whole world into a flat place. And it is also a lot of opportunity. I would say this crisis also offers a lot of opportunity for growth in the future. There is a lot that youth of Africa can do.
Yes, Gurudev, brings us to a very important question of trust and how we build trust. To be able to listen to instructions from government, people need to trust government. To be able to collaborate as civil society, people need to trust one another. And in Africa, we typically say that our philosophy is Ubuntu. I am because we are. Collectively, we try to do things for the common good of all. But there are so many things that are making people make a choice between individual freedom and the common good. How should people approach collective issues versus their own personal freedom in the disposal to trusting of the good that can come from working together? It is
in extraordinary situations like this, I think we cannot spend time in wondering whether someone has freedom or not, or freedom of expression, or now it's like you are going for a war and there is an enemy ready to shoot you down. So what you do, you don't sit and worry about whether you have combed your hair or whether your lace in the shoe is proper or not. You simply run. And that is the sort of situation we are in now. So very quickly we have to, world together will have to contain the disease. Suppose one part of the world is not contained, other parts are contained, it is no containment. So from here it will all travel to other part. So at once we have to nullify this virus. For this we all have to work together. And we are also here in India working on some natural herbs. The moment that comes up about natural herbs, I am sure Africa has a treasure of natural herbs. If we can heal the population by our natural herbs, then we don't sell out our whole wealth and health of the continent, of the world to pharmaceutical companies who make a lot of money out of this, out of all these pandemics. Though there are many conspiracy theories about all this, but I would say this is the time that we all unitedly inspire each other, tell people not to get depressed or become aggressive and angry at someone else. We'll work together as a teamwork. This is not the time for conflict or competition, but this is a time for cooperation. From competition to cooperation we have to go. From conflict to compassion we have to come. So these are the things, if we take in mind, I think we will be able to overcome this, and I see a bright future ahead of this pandemic in the coming years. Yeah.
Okay, Gurudev, we'll return to Roshan, who has another question to ask of you.
Oh, thank you again for allowing me to ask another question. During this conversation, we have been speaking about what authorities can do, what civil society can do. But I think one of the most important things that needs to be addressed is what we as individuals can do, because we definitely have very hard times coming ahead. Many people will be unemployed. Other things that we used to take for granted will be harder to do now. So going forward, I personally feel that there is a lot of there will be a lot of shift going towards the inner self of people. But I just want you to ask Gurudev, what would you tell people to do, especially to the African continent? How do we brace ourselves going forward? Because our lives will never be the same going forward. I might be wrong.
No, no, you're correct. Going forward, as I said, we have to rethink our economic strategies. We have to be self-sufficient and produce food that we need for each province. I'm not even talking about countries. Each province should be able to grow their food. If any such pandemic comes in the future, we will be able to lock down our each province and still be self-sufficient there. If say suppose some other virus comes up after a couple of years, a few years later, if there is a lockdown, we are not suffering, or the suffering can be reduced to the minimum if we see there is self-sufficiency zone-wise. And this will also help for the urban cities, urban areas to get more breathing space. What is happening now is urban areas are overcrowded. Traffic is so much there. So when smaller cities come up, small localities come up, it is always better. People live in, So this post-19 has opened many avenues of creative economy. There people can agree-based economy, then there could be software and IT training, and skill training is something that people can have. Africa also needs a lot of skills, training. So driven by this spirit to create something new. I think our continent, African continent, can move faster. As I said, there is hard-working tendencies already there. Africans are very hard-working. The endurance is there. They are stable, mentally very stable. Plus there is a rhythm in them. Natural rhythm is there for Africans. So, but in spite of having all these virtues and enormous natural resources, Africa is still poor. That is very sad. It's very sad to see. With so much resources in Africa and people so hardworking, so good-hearted, very committed, we should be able to uplift the country very fast. One more thing I would say, we must help young people come out of addictions, whether it's drug or alcohol addiction, cigarette addiction, addiction to smoking. This has also caused a great toll on the health of younger generation. I'm talking about younger generation specifically. So the younger generation, because of this, they get into a mode of violence. If violence is put to an end in Africa, whole of Africa, it will invite investments, it will prosper very well, it can grow in science and technology, it can become 100% literate, all these benefits are there. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gurudev. As we do I Meditate Africa, I guess maybe we need to talk some about meditation and how the peace and calm of Africa can be restored through meditation.
Yeah. See, meditation is something that brings energy to body and sweetness in our dealing and behavior with people, and your body become healthy, your immune system gets boosted, there is clarity in mind, you get good sleep, and then you think very positive, you get very creative ideas. There are numerous benefits of meditation, and especially if you can meditate at a synchronized time, it is even better. And that's why I Meditate Africa will really bring a wave of relief, waves of happiness to people of South Africa. Yeah. Not just South Africa, it's a whole African continent, right? The entire Africa. Yeah. Definitely it can bring the waves of positivity in the entire continent of Africa.
Gurudev, we would like to invite you to perhaps lead a meditation for Africa now. Thank you so much, Gurudev.
Yeah. Let us sit back with our shoulders relaxed, body relaxed. Now let's breathe in and lift our shoulders up to touch our ears if we can, so that our spine is elongated, is stretched, and then bring our shoulders back and we breathe out and relax. Now, let's close our eyes and become aware of our whole body. Let us recollect the weight of our body, whatever it is, 60 kilos or 120 pounds, 150 pounds, whatever is our weight, let us just recollect. We take a deep breath in, and as we breathe out, let's place the weight on the chair, on the sofa, or on the floor we are sitting. Rather, let us realize the chair we are sitting is carrying the weight of our body. We came into this planet weighing just 5 kilos or 4 kilos or 8 pounds. And today we weigh 60, 70, 80 kilos. Let us honor our own body. Our body is a precious gift to us from nature. Our body has billions and trillions of cells. Let's feel our own body. Body is the first dimension of our existence. Now let's become aware of the second dimension, the breath. Let's take a deep breath in and let go. Let us become aware of the air all around us and inside of us. Let's become aware of the air all around us and inside of us. And let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Incoming breath energizes the body and outgoing breath brings relaxation. And this phenomenon is happening all the time. Let us welcome the incoming breath with a smile and let us see off the outgoing breath like we would do any honored guest. Let us breathe in with reverence to our own breath and breathe out as you would see off a dear friend. Now let us become aware of our mind. Our body is like the wick of a candle and mind is like the glow all around it. In fact, our life is radiating from every cell of our body. Whatever thoughts are coming in the mind, just let them come. Good thoughts, bad thoughts, let's give a big hug to them all. Embrace all the thoughts. And let us take another deep breath in and let go. As the body relaxes, the mind seems to be expanding. Let us become aware of the walls of the room we are in or the space around us. A deep breath in and relax. Let us become aware of the empty space above our head. And let go all our efforts. This moment there is nothing to do and nothing to know either. Just for a few minutes, let us just relax, let go all our efforts. Nothing to do, nothing to know. And allow the sound to fill the entire space. Relax into this more and more. are peace. We are peace. We are love. We are the source of life. You are peace. Repose in yourself. Let go. Let go of all efforts. Let us take our attention to the top of the head. Simultaneously, let us take our attention to our breath. Notice the rhythm of the breath. Our breathing has become very subtle. Let us keep a big smile on our face. As we smile, all the muscle in our face gets deep relaxation. Repose with a smile. Let us repose in ourselves with a smile. Let us observe the temperature of our breath, the volume of the breath, and let's keep relaxing more and more. Let our smile percolate to the back of our head. Just imagine the back of your head is also smiling. The effect of smile getting into our ears are smiling. And let the smile percolate to our throat and neck. Let every cell of our body start relaxing now. Let them smile, blossom, relax, right? As though our whole body is blossoming or relaxing, smiling. Let go of all your efforts. Any tension anywhere, just let it be. If we find some discomfort, let it be for a little while. Let's bear with all the discomfort. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out slowly and gradually. Another deep breath in with a smile and breathe out with a smile. You are peace, you are peace, you are peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let's take notice of the temperature of our breath now. Let's notice that the entropy is down. Let us become aware of the space around our body, the space in the room we are in. Another deep breath in with a smile and breathe out with a smile. This time, let's become aware of the vast sky and millions of stars out there. Another deep breath in. And as we breathe out, let us become aware of our body and surroundings. And slowly and gradually, we may open our eyes.
When the unimaginable just becomes inevitable, then true love shall remain. If we keep loving. So maybe just think. What do you feel? Do you believe? One world family. No more hiding from the truth. No distance separates me and you. Nature's there watching, God is watching. Let love be real. Yes, I do belong to you, and you do belong to me. We can stay together, love each other, and live in peace. One world, one family. One world, one family. Vasudeva, Kutumbakam. Vasudeva, Kutumbakam. One world, one family. One world, one family. Vasudeva, Kutumbakam. Vasudeva, Kutumbakam. Give some help, give it free. Don't stand humanity. The eyes
everywhere that you are. I want to particularly thank my co-panelists, Everson and Roshan, and particularly I want to thank Gurudev for the time and the commitment and the compassion and passion that has enabled us pull this together. I do hope that each and every one of us, wherever we are, wherever we go, will carry forward what has come out of this session, because really together we can defeat this scourge, and we want to pray for Africa that it will find strength. Thank you all.